It's funny.
Um, I can see the students are starting to come in, and we
Mhm.
have all four of our panelists here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So hello everyone, welcome to the USC Industry Insights Career Journeys and Advice for International Students panel. We're excited to have you all here today to gain valuable insights from all our panel of industry experts. And before we begin, I do want to let everyone know that this event is being recorded, and this event is designed to give students the opportunity to explore different ways that they can excel in their career and gain some industry insights from our amazing panelists. So we have a packed agenda, so let's dive right in. Um, I I will introduce myself. I'm Ahana, and I'm a moderator for today's panel. I'm a senior studying electrical and computer engineering, and it's my pleasure to guide you through today's panel. Here's what we have lined up for today. We'll begin with brief introductions by our panelists, and after that, I will lead a formal Q&A session. And we do want this panel to be as interactive as possible, so we will open up the panel for questions from the audience. When we do, please indicate that you have questions by using the raise hand feature and turning on your camera if you can. So with that, I will get started. So to all our wonderful panelists, please share a bit about your background, your current role, and any exciting projects you're working on, and we'll follow the order in which your names appear on the slide. So, Xiao, if you could start us off.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chao. I graduated from USC undergrad in 2022. I got into the school with a communication major from Annenberg, was briefly a SCA, was a media studies major, but ended up graduating with double BA in comm and in Jewish studies with a film minor. I had a background with mostly in marketing event planning early on. That's what I thought I would be doing. And then kind of found my way into film because it's very hard to avoid that community when you are learning at USC. Now I work as a producer at a production company called Ryback. On the feature side, we were the producers behind the live action Lilo and Stitch that just came out. Also did the Lego movie, the It franchise, the live action Aladdin as well. And then on a TV side, we are in the process of shooting season 2 and 3 for the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's really cool. Thank you, Xiao. Farhan, if you would like to go next.
Sure. Hey everyone, thank you for joining. I'm Farhan. I recently finished my Master's of Science in Business Analytics from USC. So I was in Marshall. Right now, I'm working as a global strategy and business advisor at an IT wing of one of the biggest NGOs of the world. It's known as BRAC. So the IT wing is BRAC IT Services Limited. One of a very cool project that I'm working on with our team right now is to revamp our current web portal. It's been quite a journey with working with a couple of different stakeholders in that project. We're set to roll out on October 1st. Prior to this, I've actually had my entire career more or less in the span of different sort of tech companies in business analyst roles and product management roles. And yeah, and that's where I want to build my career in the scope of product management in tech. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Farhan. Kathy, would you like to go next?
Okay, no problem. So hello everyone, nice to see everyone in there. And I graduated from USC from 2022, and also that time its major is the spatial economy and the data analysis. Also at the same time, I also studied for another master degree for the computer science in Georgia Tech. Currently, I'm working in the Password as a software engineer, and it's like the bank. And I'm mainly focused on deal with the bank data and also help the internal tools to improve data working efficiency and also working with the data pipeline like the ETL. And before that, I also work as a Google and in the DreamWorks implementation and mainly focus on this kind of the tech area for the software engineer. At the same time, I also have the part-time job and just working as the educator for teaching the math and the physics. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. Simon, would you like to go next?
Yes, hi everyone, I'm Simon. So I was born and raised in China, and then I came to USC for my master's degree in communication management. I graduated in 2023, but I didn't get my first full-time job until this February. My current job is like a marketing manager at Reston Medical Group. We're doing like medical consultancy and also AI education. And on Saturday, my part-time job is a Mandarin studio tour guide at Universal Studio Hollywood, the famous studio tour. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. That's really exciting. This is once again a question for all the panelists. What was your experience like navigating the US job market as an international student? As we know, this panel is mostly targeted to international students. If you could share a bit of your experience, Farhan, you could start us off.
Yeah, sure. So it's a wonderful question to ask. To be honest, it's quite an experience. When you come in as an international student, you're thinking of a lot of different things together, and obviously, right off the bat, you get into this whole spectrum of like everyone telling you have to network, you have to keep your grades okay as well. So you're actually juggling a lot of these things together. However, my approach to the whole thing was um, the Trojan network in itself. To be very honest, what they say is actually true. The network, really, the Trojan network, and everyone you meet at USC, they always really help you out. So reaching out to my seniors to understand how I can sort of like structure, my studies, as well as like the summer internship, it was upcoming summer internship that was going to come. So reaching out to my network in order to ask for this help really helped me structure all of these things together. So they kind of helped me navigate throughout my processes of like how I should, build a bigger network, how I should reach out to different people, and how I should help. And to be honest, it was super easy because people were super receptive of like any sort of help I wanted at the beginning. I would really advise also not only just to focus on like your LinkedIn invites and just like not only on the LinkedIn invites or um, just reaching out to seniors, but also like keep a very good touch with your professors as well as your classmates, because they also really help with the whole journey. So all of this, like it was a compilation of all of these things that really helped me bag my first internship. And once you get that internship, you sort of build that confidence in going forward to a full-time opportunity. So yeah, that's sort of how it all helped me out.
Thank you so much. Kathy, would you like to share a bit about your journey?
Okay, yeah, because why just the first day enrolled for the USC, I already decided what kind of a job I really want to looking for. So that's why entering into the first USC the first day, I already prepared my resume, and also ready just to just apply for the different internship just for different company, and mainly focus on use the LinkedIn and also Glassdoor, and there are Indeed. There are so many kind of the job hunting the website that help you do that. Also at the same time, and I also focus on my study and also my social network and keep my GPAs little higher, and also at the same time to reach out to different to the person, like the professor, maybe the students or classmates, they have the similar major with me, and also talk with them to get some more experience about the job or maybe about the work. And this is one thing. And also another thing is, and every month I will update my I will depend on job market to update my resume, for example, and there are so many the kind of the job title like the software engineer or web developer or full stack engineer or back end engineer or front end engineer. They have so many kind of the different area related to software. Software engineer is very general the words. So how to maybe target also split into the different the target job area. I also split a different resume to apply for different kind of the position. And for that one, also at the same time, I also need to update myself to fit into this kind of a job, but also at the same time, also try to just to catch up some of the main skills about the different job skills, with basing the combined with so many maybe programming language or maybe the stack, maybe technology skills for such kind of things. And I think it's very important just to not only for, oh, I prepare everything and then to do that. No, don't do that. Just learn by doing. And then the more you try, the more you learn, you can get more experience than others. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really insightful. Xiao, did you want to share a little bit about your experience and journey?
Yeah, I think entertainment to some extent sits on almost the opposite side of the spectrum compared to probably like Kathy's experience in the world of tech. On one hand, like we're all in LA, like this is a place where there's significantly more supply than demand when anyone's trying to enter into the marketplace. And it's like really hard for anyone to get an entry-level job in the world of film and TV. And then second, there is no set recruiting timeline. So there is no like, let's get an internship on your sophomore summer so you could get some sort of like an externship return offer in your junior year so you could graduate into a job. Like there's no such platform for entertainment specifically. So a lot of the times it felt like before graduation, we were kind of living in months of anxiety of like not knowing when the next job is going to open up because you're applying for something where the boss, if you're lucky enough to get the job, the boss is going to be like, can you start tomorrow? Like this is the reality that we live in. And then I was also at a time where there were maybe 5 of us that are like non-US citizens trying to get a job in entertainment when I was in school. So nobody ever like talks about visa because it's like not really a common experience in the world as well. And then as I was graduating kind of like into the first semester out of the pandemic, the like situation we were living with was that all of the major talent agencies that are considered to be like most people's first job in the industry aren't really welcoming toward international students because if they could hire someone with the same competence with significantly less money, like what exactly is your advantage as an international student? So a lot of the doors that were traditionally considered to be like easier pathways for people to get a first job just weren't really accessible to me at the time, and I kind of had to like forge my own path in terms of understanding what is realistic, like what are the companies that could actually help me sponsor a visa or at least like open a door about a conversation about how I should go about my work permit versus like what are the places that I know are going to be a straight no from the start. And it's also just about like thinking specifically about my situation in terms of like what are the avenues in front of me, how do I get a job, like to what extent do you withhold certain information, like what do you prioritize and what is the most important to you within the next 3 months versus like what are the things where we could kind of cross the bridge as it comes along. And then I was kind of lucky enough where the last internship that I had doing college, my supervisor at the time wanted to leave the job halfway into it. So this was like 3 months away from before I graduated. And it was kind of like an 8-month back and forth of not knowing whether or not I'll be the next runner up for that position because again, like I was competing against a lot of other people with like 2 or 3 years of experience into the industry who are recently out of a job. So I like wasn't necessarily the top candidate to have risen, but like luckily all the stars aligned and I kind of like ended up in the position that I am in right now. And I feel like in film, you hear a lot of stories about like everyone has a different way. And it is certainly true in the sense that no matter who you meet, like everyone kind of has a different way of figuring things out. And it truly is just about hustling and then believing that you'll be able to do it and then like trying everything you could in order to make that happen.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Simon, would you want to share a little bit about your experience?
Yes, I think my experience kind of different because I feel like the other panelists are very confident about what they want to do. But when I graduate, because I'm also come from communication background, so I was very anxious, very, very anxious. One thing is like my visa status, I don't have CPT. So for some complicated reason, I don't have CPT. And then my OPT only have 1 year. And I don't know what I should do. I'm not like talented like Xiao. She can working those film studio or production company, I just feel like I don't have any like good experience on my resume, and also because I don't have CPT, so there's like zero intern experience for me to apply jobs. So I feel like at that moment, I feel like, oh, nobody's gonna hire me. And so there's no way I can get H-1B visa. So starting from like the last semester, I started to like discuss this with everyone around me, lawyer, professor. I tell them I don't want to work and I'm not good enough to work. How can I stay here? And then my professor said, you have OPT. If you couldn't find a job, you can open a company yourself to hire yourself to use the first year of OPT. That's how I get through it for the first couple of months. Otherwise, my OPT gonna expire. And then I'm lucky that 1 month before my graduation, I met my partner on dating app. I got married with him like 6 months later. I got my green card. That's how my journey looks like. And then so that's the reason why I started my first full-time job right now, because during the past 2 years, I've been waiting for my green card, stuff like that. Yeah, that's my journey looks like.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's very interesting how like everyone's journey is so different. So I guess that kind of leads me to my next question, which is that how did you secure your first internship or job post graduation, even if it wasn't an internship, if it was something that you did on campus or any research, if you could share a little bit about that. So, Shao, you can start us off.
Yeah, I guess two-part question, first internship and first job. I got my first internship my first semester in sophomore year. And at the time, long story short, I was really interested in film, wasn't really sure where to start. So like everybody else, I started going to student sets from like upperclassmen who then introduced me to other people on set who then introduced me to like a student organization, which is now like Asian Pacific Cinema Association. And then the semester that I started thinking that I should get an internship, I was talking to the president of the org, and it was like the year right after Crazy Rich Asians came out. So it was very lucky timing in terms of everyone in Hollywood wanting to look for someone who is bilingual, bicultural, international, could kind of like speak on behalf of something that is beyond Hollywood. And I kind of like stumbled into the perfect timing. And the senior student at the time was like, hey, you love event planning, like you love organizing events, you're very like attention to detail sort of person, you also love reading. If you don't want to be a writer or director, have you ever considered the producing or development where the majority of your job is reading scripts and then telling a supervisor whether or not you think it's good enough? So I like started applying for a lot of development internships, and like a lot of the places that I was focusing on was like places that have made either foreign language cinema or have like some sort of international co-production experience of like shooting something outside of America. So the first place that I heard back from happens to be the production company behind Crazy Rich Asians called Sydney Kimmel. And it kind of like worked out perfectly for me because I was this person was like, that's a complete blank slate. And all I have is like, I speak a different language from most of the other people. And I like walked into the cohort, and then turns out like all the interns either like speak French or Spanish or Korean or Mandarin. And that was like very much a booming industry at the time until the pandemic happened and the dynamic kind of shifted. But it definitely was a lot about like, oh, finding what is that edge of yours that you have from the jump. And I think for a lot of us having international background, it's about like, how do you phrase it as a strength instead of a weakness, especially for me in an industry that focuses a lot on like language barriers and cultural shock and like understanding the people around you. Like, how do you convince people that this is a global marketplace and we are here because we have more to offer, not less? And then one internship rolled into another. Like I said before, like my last internship was with Ryback, where our founding CEO Dan Ling was like one of the most prolific like Asian POC executive in Hollywood at the time and also now. So it was like a company that focuses a lot on inclusion and diversity as well. So I landed right there because they were like, we were looking at like anime and manga and video games, and we're looking at younger voices, we're looking at international voices. And then that very much was also the same strategy that I used when I ended up like interviewing to be the assistant, because I like literally cannot compete with anybody else on paper. Like I've never been an assistant before. I've never made coffee for someone before. I never wrote calls for someone before. But like on the interview, we just ended up talking about like my thoughts on politics, my thoughts on like the global industry, my thoughts on what are the films that perform domestically versus internationally. And it kind of ended up like wowing my boss a little bit, because I came in carrying this perspective that is completely different from what everybody else has. And then he kind of said retroactively that like, oh, he was looking for someone that could be additive and not repeating what the company is already offering. So I feel like kind of reiterating that thesis statement has been like what's been most helpful for me doing a job search.
Yeah, that's actually a really inspiring story. So, Simon, if you want to share yours.
Okay. I want to share a story that when I was still holding my OPT, when I don't have my green card, how I get my first part-time job after graduation. So at the time I was super anxious. Like I even diagnosed as anxiety at that time. So I told myself, well, you need to go out of your apartment. And then I bought like a Universal Studio Hollywood pass, an annual pass. And then there's like a random thought when I go to like Universal Studio for 4 times, there's a random idea like pop up in my brain say, well, why don't you work there? And I just search and they're literally hiring Mandarin tour guide. I was like, that's for me. That's for my dream job. And I applied for it, and then a surprise. I didn't tell my visa status at that time. I didn't tell them what kind of visa I was holding. And what surprised me is that they accept my OPT visa at that time. That surprised me. And then I think the reason why I'm trying to share this story is like, because at that time I tried to apply to millions of jobs, but nobody replies me, nobody give me answer. I just want to say when you're having your low time, maybe you try to enjoy your life. Maybe something good will happen. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that is actually like how fate plays into it is actually really interesting. So Farhan, if you wanted to share a little bit about your story.
Sure. I'll just before I start, I find it like super cool how we all come from an international background, obviously, and how we have our own stories and how everything panned out to where we are right now. So I'm similar to a lot of the things that Xiao said or Simon said. You will, as an international student, when you come over here, you will definitely face a lot of these hurdles and hardships. What's important is to sort of give yourself that hope that you're gonna make it. I'll tell you guys a little bit of my story in going through the internship pathway as well. This is another sort of a different sort of challenge that I faced and how I overcame that hurdle. So I hope that helps you guys. Um, so much like everyone else, I was focusing while I was doing my analytics degree. So before my analytics degree, I did have like about 3 years of job experience working in product management roles, business analyst roles. So I had some work experience under my belt before my master's. And to be honest, when I came in, I kind of thought, hey, I do have some experience. So it shouldn't be way too difficult for me to land my first internship role. However, that wasn't the case, right? That was my first wake up call, to be honest. That wasn't the case. If anything, I had to work much harder, and the reason wasn't because like I didn't. The reason wasn't because I wasn't trying hard. I think the reason was because I wasn't trying it in a smart way. I wasn't navigating the pathway in the right way. So eventually, what I started doing, or how I got my first internship, was um, initially what I said, by talking to a lot of my professors, by talking to a lot of my classmates, and what strategies were working for them, by taking a lot of advice from the Trojan Network itself, right? And they eventually told me how to improve my resume, how to improve my approach. And then there was a lot of this trial and error process. Obviously, you apply, you learn that, oh, this is where my resume worked, this is why it didn't work. And And within this process, while doing this process, one of these days I went to an event where this company called Pretty Big Monster, they do like AR and VR reality technology type of stuff. So they actually were, hosting an event at USC. I went there, spoke to the founder, and sort of that's how it happened. Much like an approach that Xiao took was, I was a blank slate, and I kind of figured my way out like that. An approach that Simon took was like, oh, I was at a low point in my life, and suddenly I thought, hey, I like Universal tours, and let me just see what happens. For me, it was, I was just trying my best going to events, and I really liked what they were doing with AR and VR. And I kind of went up to the founder with no expectations because I had so many resumes rejected by then. And I said, hey, man, I really think this is super cool. I have this experience pool, if you want someone for the summer, I'm free. I hope that works out. And it did. He gave me a call the following week. I did an interview and I got the job. Now, here's the low point of it. About 11 days before starting the role, they had a funding issue and they had to cancel the role. So that was the second hurdle. So the reason I'm telling you this is not to sort of scare you, but sort of to prepare you. Like things like this, unprecedented things like this would happen. I was at a super low point. That's where my friends, friends at USC really came in to help. But they really gave me the motivation that, hey, man, keep on trying. It's going to happen. And slowly but surely, I was super upset, but I kept on applying. At one point, I got a reply from one of the companies called Planet Art. They are one of the biggest merchandising companies based out of the United States. And at the interview, at the end of the day, like much like even like as Xiao said, the interview was more of a person-to-person talk rather than oh, tell me about yourself, your journey, and everything. So I had a great interview with my manager at the time, and it turned out great. So I ended up joining Planet Art towards the very end of the internship season during the summer. I got really lucky over there. And once you get the interview, then comes your second part of it, the how do you convert that into a job. So what I focused on after getting the interview, as an international student, when you get the interview, when you get the job, you become that much more grateful for the opportunity, and you want to sort of like prove yourself, and that's a great spirit to have. What I tried to do was not only just work with my manager, but also build my network throughout the company, like learn more about the business, learn more about the different teams, learn more about the processes. While I was in the company, I would set up coffee chats with, all of the different members of different teams. That really helped me in getting the return offer. So I ended up getting the return offer at Planet Art as a product manager. I was very fortunate towards, within this whole scope is when I, of course, learned and realized more about what I can put in my resume, how I should put things in my resume. So while I was doing these coffee chats as well, I would ask people about, tell me, can I know a little bit about yourself as well? And so I would hear how the managers would, sort of introduce themselves, or what sort of, metrics they would hold higher up. Because I was growing a product role, it was important to me to learn more about like how people talk about these, product management stats and stuff like that. Eventually, I was very fortunate to get opportunities at Planet Art, Disney ESPN as a product manager as well, and AEG. However, life got in the way in one, some say way, shape, or form. So my wife is based out of Canada, and we kind of made a decision to sort of settle from the United States to Canada. And that's where I joined BRAC IT. I'm here based out of Montreal right now, but it's a wonderful company. It's working with an NGO is super fulfilling. With the tech side of the NGO it's a really eye opener. But that's sort of it. The reason I kind of wanted to say all these parts is, and I really appreciate, I really echo what my fellow panelists over here say, like we all had different experience, but there's like this one similarity that no one of us, I think we didn't give up, or we kind of like wanted to see how far we can sort of go with by pushing our, like boundaries and all of this at work. And as long as you have that sort of hope, that sort of mentality within you, rest assured, maybe it might be a little later rather than sooner, but you're gonna get there. Yeah. So that'd be from me.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful, and I'm sure our students are going to resonate with it and relate to it, and hopefully gain some insight from it as well. So, Kathy, if you would like to share a little bit about your experience getting an internship or a job, like the first thing that you got.
Yeah, my pleasure to share. And actually, just my first internship, and it's divided into the two parts. The first one just before the internship, and also another one for after internship. So before the internship, because I know when I just joined the USC, because I'm the master's degree student. So that's why the job hunting, the timeline is very limited, because you only have 2 years, right? Because the first year, the summer, you need get maybe at least get one the summer internship, and then after that, just update your resume. Just then looking for the after graduation the year to find the full-time job. So that's why the first internship is very important to me, and also especially for the international student if you don't have any experience. So that's why before that, I already prepared for that. But actually, to be honest, at first, I'm not sure whether I'm willing to be the web developer or maybe just a full software engineer. Because before I started in the USA, I also worked as the physics teacher in China. So at that time, and why I also moved there, I think, oh, I really want to just stay in there. I also need to find some job. But what kind of things I can combine my maybe advantage, and also can just to develop and maybe get a good salary and also get with a sponsorship. And then I found the tech area that really lack of a person, like a people to work in there. Also, they have the good strategy to support for the international student, like the OPT or H1B, this kind of stuff. So that's why I dive into this area. And I think just also you have so many different choices, so that I choose this one. And then I prepare just there are some maybe technical skills like you need to prepare for the different technical assignment like the lead code or maybe the full coding program. And also we have prepared for the behavior question. And also you need to know how to talk with your HR resources manager or something about the kind of the teamwork or maybe the working style, this kind of stuff, and prepare for the internship interview. And I first started my job hunting for internship, just only rely on 2 ways. One, just from the LinkedIn, from the Glassdoor, also from Indeed, this kind of also from the Handshake, and because the USA has have the cooperation with the Handshake, and just mainly based on this full website, and also to apply for the different internship, and also another thing is to try to find some students they have the similar background with you, and also to do the peer interview before your real interview, and also try to practice how to just behave yourself. And luckily, and I remember, and I have to say it's a long journey, because you cannot expect it just for the today or maybe this month you apply for one job, and then next month the interviewer will come to reach out to you and also ask for interview. It's impossible. So I remember I just started from USA from that year, the August, and also from August I did also apply so many resume for that one. And then after that, I remember until next year in the spring, I remember at the time I still prepare for the final exam. And I also at the same time also need to interview for other company, because until that time I didn't get any feedback about the offer from other company. So that's why I think it's a little longer from the current year from August to next year, the May. And then until May, I got 2 offers. One is from ADP and also another one from the DreamWorks animation. But I really, really love the the cartoon or maybe the animation, the kind of entertainment. So that's why I choose the DreamWorks, and I also reject for the ADP. Yeah. So that's for before I get in the internship, the job. And after I start my internship, because that time is a very special time period, because during COVID-19. So it's all kind of internship was conducted online, right? And so during the online environment, how to just put yourself, try to just fit into in kind of the environment, also do the more communication with others, very important, because if you work on site, it's very easy to reach out a person. But in the online working area, and most of the time you need to be more active than before, and because you need to reach out more person to get to know the insight about the team, about a different team, how to interact with each other, and also know what kind of your position, what kind of function about the team. So that's what, like the Farhan mentioned, that you need to reach out to a different person in different team. It's very help you a lot, because also if you also enter into the big company, also have the good support for the internship, because you basically generally they have a mentor, so the mentor will help you just to build up you maybe your whole summer package is what this looks like, and maybe what kind of task you're gonna be developed for that one, and then follow their instruction to finish the task one by one. Also at the same time, and you have another second mentor, and as an optional, because the second mentor is from the other team member. So it's not from you work the team, and from the other team, but maybe have some relationship but not very tight. And then you can also ask any question related to the job or the culture, company culture, or working culture. And every time I try to also over deliver my task. For example, if you maybe your manager or maybe your tech leader assign to you some work, and I will think more and than them, because they maybe have some delivery. So you just to fit into to design some icon also to fulfill that. But actually I will think, what kind of icon? Maybe I can just give me more detail, and also ask more details, like what does the size, how about the title, color, and what else? And also give my optional about that one. And then after that, just you can over delivery, so you can meet the expectation more for that one, and also leave the good impression on others, and also maybe getting the chance. If their company they have return offer opportunity, definitely you can get they will let them in. So, but actually, unfortunately, for my internship at the time, because there are no return offer, because there are no position to open. So that's why, and after internship, I also still need to looking for the full-time job after graduate. And but luckily, because I did a good job in that time, and at the same time, I also asked my manager to help me to maybe correct my resume, polish my resume, and also at the same time ask her to maybe refer to some other company if they have found some opportunity. Also, they have the good network with others. So I think just never give up, try to catch up any resources around you, and to find the internship. And that's kind of things I want to share. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. Before I proceed, I would like to mention that we do have our student Q&A coming up. So people who join later, I do want to mention that have your questions ready. You can ask in the chat, or unmute yourself and ask. So yeah, just wanted to mention that for people who joined a little late. But moving on to my next question, it's kind of related to what Kathy was talking about using resources. So we have a lot of resources on campus, such as the USC career fairs or other networking events. So if you could tell us a little bit about what resources you use either on campus, or it can be like a site you use, a job board you use. So Simon, if you want to get us started on that.
Okay, I was kind of nervous to answer this question because I barely joined any networking or career field when I was in school. But when I work here, I try to hire more Chinese people because we have Chinese business. I found like a place that very easy to hire international student is the linking group of USC and Annenberg group. So every school at USC, we will have like a linking group specifically for that school. So for me, I'm from Annenberg school, so I go to linking USC Annenberg alumni or USC Annenberg group, something like that, and then I post some job hiring there. That's the fastest way that to get very good resume. I strongly recommend people, if you haven't checked out your own school linking group, you should check on that because actually hiring costs money. I post one job on LinkedIn, like the only free quota is 100 resume. So sometimes you see LinkedIn, there's a job, it says closed, but actually it's not. It's just I don't want to pay. So I will put it on LinkedIn group because that's free. So I will encourage people to go to those LinkedIn group, try to find jobs because that's where good job and they don't want to pay for LinkedIn. That's it.
Thank you, Simon. Farhan, did you want to share your perspective?
Yeah, for sure. So it's just basically tips wise, I would just say, of course, you have your USC portal. Know what events are coming up. There are also multiple times you might not be. So I was from Marshall, so it's the business school, but you might think that you are not sometimes, maybe if I'm not from the business school, I'm not allowed into, some of the, let's say, Annenberg programs or let's say some other program, but do check really for them. You never know where you could really walk into and go and meet some people. So very funnily enough, the internship that I initially got with Pretty Big Monster was at there was a gaming conference that was going on at the film school center at USC. So I just happened to just ask a friend, walk in, and that's how I got to my opportunity. So that would be number one. Other than that, definitely, I think everyone's going to tell you the career fairs, networking events are super important. One thing for me that really helped me make the most out of, like when I was forwarding my resume or when I was forwarding my profile to people was building my own website, which we will have like a wide range of like AI tools right now that can help you build a one-pager website for you, and it's free as well. So I would really recommend doing that as a tip, because that's one thing that really helped me set myself apart from like some of the people who are also applying. Because like when you go into LinkedIn and you have the 300 character space of like, hey, I am so and so, I'm also from USC, can we connect? Just adding that bit of if you want, if you would want to learn a little bit more about me, here's my website link, so that within that one website link, you're like packing a lot of your information. And the one who's also going to connect with you, they're gonna think, oh, you kind of put in the work as well, and you have all these things organized. I mean, it really helped me in my case. Other than that, I would highly recommend, obviously Simon had this part. I also did not know, Simon, the job posting part. That's something that I learned as well from your end. But yeah, for me, what also helped was websites like Refer Me. So Refer Me is a website, because they will, everywhere you're going for the job market right now, they will tell you apply with a referral. And sometimes it's extremely difficult to really curate that referral, because you have to reach out to a lot of people and get into a conversation and get the referral. Sometimes what helps is portals like, or websites like referme.com, where people offer free referrals, like actual legit people offer free referrals. That helped me out quite a lot as well. Other than that, me, as I mentioned, I focus more on the PM position, product management, or positions. So APM List is a website that is always updated with the most current openings of product management or associate product management positions. So that really helped me as well. So to echo on Xiao's point, I think she mentioned that to know where you want to be is also super important before all these tips come into being. Like once you really know, like, okay, this is either the role or the industry, sort of like, okay, this is the role that I really want to build my career path in. So I knew that product management is something that I really wanted to build my career path, and then then you can like navigate your resources and pack them together. So APM list was super important for me. Another one or two would be make, like, sometimes we kind of tell ourselves that, okay, I'll get to making my entire profile later. So on LinkedIn we usually have our entire profiles made, but like let's say websites like Indeed or Handshake, where there are also like a lot of job posts there, we kind of like slack off a little bit because we're like, okay, I have it on LinkedIn, maybe take it easy on there. So I guess it could be exactly that, like, because LinkedIn charges a lot, you might have a big, like, really cool profile, but the hirer just might post it on LinkedIn. So if you the hirer just might post it on Indeed. So if you have a good and completely made profile on Indeed, you might have a higher chance of getting hired from somewhere like Indeed. So wherever you're opening your, like, it might be Indeed, Simplify, Handshake, whichever platform that maybe USC and non-USC has affiliations with, I would recommend creating your whole profile properly, creating that description properly. And I know that a lot of these times you'll definitely use like AI tools like ChatGPT to build your draft of about yourself and stuff. But this is my this is my recommendation, a suggestion for you. Try to sound a little bit like a human, like have the help from ChatGPT to draft it up, but then like those hyperbolics or those dashes, try to look into those things and try to draft up some of these things like as if you were writing by yourself. It would really help you, because when actually like an interviewer or like a hiring manager takes notice of your profile, they want to see this like authenticity from you as well. So every little bit maybe that the four of us are sharing, it would all come together at the end. Like all of these tips would come together at the end. So like if you do all of these, if you have all of these boxes ticked off in terms of your career journey, you're going to the fairs, you're going to the workshops, you're bettering yourself with, like, let's say a website, you're creating your profiles everywhere, you're using the referrals, like rest assured you're definitely gonna like end up with a good career opportunity. So yeah, those are some of the sort of tips from my end.
Thank you, Farhan. I'm sure our students found it really helpful, and I hope they'll take your advice. Kathy, if you want to share a little bit about your perspective.
Okay, so I think the first very important thing is about the website, and like I mentioned before, it's like LinkedIn is very useful, and also LinkedIn is I also opened the LinkedIn membership, because the membership can help you when you navigate the different job, and you can see how many people already applied, and also you can see whether it's a good time for you to just maybe apply for this job. Because I know, especially after the pandemic, the job market is very tight actually, and sometimes if the job may be released so many days, and then I found out that some of the people already apply for that, sometimes I feel ignore that, because I only just maybe apply for the maybe the job maybe released maybe within the 1 or 2 weeks, not on maybe over months. I will directly ignore that, because HR maybe they're hardly to reach out to you, because HR most of the time they will be select the top couple kind of the first come first serve, right? So that's why it's a one thing. And also second thing is for the resume, and yeah, I agree with Farhan. It's very important to use some AI tools currently, because now the AI is very popular, and you can use the AI to help you to polish your resume. And my strategy is like you have your own resume, and also copied some the job description from the LinkedIn, and then you want to apply, and then ask the ChatGPT, say, oh, I want to polish my resume, combine my current resume also with a JD, and then also the ChatGPT will produce or generate the good resume, and then you can also, based on the different requirement, to change that. That's very useful. And also the third thing is just try to reach out to you just the resources about maybe USA Career Center, because I only used it once, because at that time I really want to apply for the software engineer, but at that time just assigned to me person, maybe they didn't have software engineer background. So that's why they only can just based on language give you some suggestion, a sentence suggestion, advice, but cannot give you very the specific idea about the technology part. So I think it's better not only just depend on USC Career Center, but also you can reach out to the LinkedIn, because the LinkedIn I just also try to find the USC alumni, and if found if they are often actively just in the LinkedIn and ask them, oh, whether can help me just do me a favor and help me change for that, or maybe we can have the coffee chat if they have time. I know most of the time maybe a lot you can get so many rejection, but it's not give up, because at least one or two person will willing to help you, because the USC alumni found they are so friendly compared to other things. Yeah. And also the first things and the first thing is just I think, and you also need to do the more peer interview before you get the real interview. Because if you didn't get that, and definitely you will be get maybe in fact about how you to be the good, how to approve yourself better during the real interview, and especially for the coding part, you need to have more practice. And sometimes some maybe the small detail you cannot notice that, and after peer interview and some new classmates or maybe you mentor or something can help you to figure out for that one. And also that's the very important things. And try to just you need to arrange yourself is better, because I use the Google Calendar, because I remember the time when I had the interview or something, and I arrange my Google Calendar is very full. It's like, oh, what kind of time the period I need to do this one, and for the interview, and what kind of time period for another things I need to do. So try to arrange yourself very professional. It's like the project manager, manage yourself. So it will be improve your working efficiency a lot, and also help you more successful a lot. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Kathy. That was some great advice. Shao, did you want to share a little bit about your advice on how to make most out of these events, like networking events?
Yeah, I think to echo Kathy's point, entertainment specifically is like such a people industry. It's all about who you know and what you say and how you present yourself. And like reaching out to people on LinkedIn, asking for coffee chats and asking for people to look at your resume is like one of the most important things that you could do when you're approaching graduation. And then I think to help with the perspective shift, it's not even about how many rejections you get, because you don't get rejections. If you send a message to 100 people and 150 of them don't get back, that's a no-show. That's not a rejection. So, don't take it personal, because I sometimes respond. I still respond to like people who messaged me like 6 months ago, because like I just don't use LinkedIn as often now that I have a stable job. And like I could be significantly delayed, but I get back to everyone that tried to message me and like have a coffee chat. So believe that the good souls are out there to help you. And then I think back to resources, I would like break it up into 3 parts. One is in terms of material preparation. Second is like actual job search sites. And then third is like long-term career advancement. I think for materials, definitely like take advantage of the career center while you're at school. I remember like walking into the career center, they used to have like paper copies of like the job packets, and then everything is like a 30-page packet of like sample cover letters, sample resumes, like this is what you do. And then it has like a full page of active verbs of like what you're supposed to put in a bullet point. And that was like really instrumental, I think, when you're first starting out and you like don't really speak the language of your industry, and you're just like, how am I supposed to describe what I'm doing? And we all paid this tuition to be here, so you might as well like take the fullest of it. And then I also like did the same thing of like going to a career center, like asking them to like help in terms of like revising language so you sound more like a native. And then sometimes you run into the problem of like the SAT person doesn't understand your industry, then you need to have like alumni, or you need to have upperclassmen from the same program that's had industry experience to be able to help that out. But again, like I think it's sometimes it's a numbers game. Like you just gotta ask everyone and try everything until something hits. And then I think in terms of like actual job sites, obviously like USC has really good school newsletters. Like we have the general job board, and like every school has their own individual newsletters, and every school has their own individual like career net site. And for me specifically, like the film, one of the biggest challenges I encountered early on is that when you were in college, a lot of people would say like, oh, if you're not in film school, you're not part of the film community. Like there's this weird chain of like condescendence like coming from certain people being like, if you've never sat in like a Martin Scorsese class, you don't understand cinema. So I like definitely got this phase where I like added in a film major because I like don't want people to constantly question why I'm not part of that program. And then that like accidentally opened doors because there are like SCA exclusive newsletters available inside the school that I didn't know at the time. And then like just literally adding that major has no added cost when you're at school, right? Like, you just claim it, you don't have to sign up for any classes for it. So I like ended up doing that, and I like got a lot of subscriptions to like a lot of communities, a lot of sites, a lot of newsletters that I didn't know exist before. And then SCA has a program called First Job Program, which is available to anyone that from a graduating senior to alumni within 5 years of graduating. And I ended up like dropping that major because I didn't feel like taking 8 classes of like classical movie. Like, that's just not what I am and who I am and how I want to spend my time. But like I never got kicked out of any of those lists. So people today like found really surprising when they hear that like I have access to like all the film school kit stuff, and I'm like, you just gotta play it smart. But obviously, like if you're in Annenberg, Marshall, like try to keep up with those type of sites, because I'm a recruiter now. Like I hire interns and like I head up separate schools for a lot of these things, and like I do rely on internal referrals a lot more than a general application, because for Hollywood specifically, most of the jobs are gone before they're even posted. Like you don't see anything on LinkedIn because most of them are referral based. Most of them are targeting feeder schools, or most of them come from sites like entertainmentkorea.net or Hollylist, and they're like a very internal circle because people reward people who can have their information earlier than other people, and that's how we play the game. So a lot of it is just about like trying to dig deep and then trying to spend as much time and energy as you can to like get your hands on things before other people do. And then I think finally, in terms of career advancement, I would say like while in school, take advantage of all the mentorship program you can have. Because as an international student, the majority of us probably don't have families here. And then a lot of us like, like your first year in college is likely your first year in America. So like you're kind of building an entire network from the ground up. And then like Annenberg has really good programs in terms of like matching people who are like female employees in the workplace, or like people who share the same industries, or people who share the same cultural backgrounds. And like I think I learned a lot of important lessons from a lot of my mentors, not just in terms of industry specific knowledge, but about like how to navigate a completely different culture. Like how do you speak up in a place where you feel like you're at the bottom of the social hierarchy? Like when do you know how to interject in a conversation? When do you speak up? When do you listen? And like how do you interact with a different cultural environment that from like what you grew up in? And then like again, like I did a lot of those programs. A lot of the mentors I kept in touch with. A lot of the mentors we fell apart because it's like we came from 2 different backgrounds, and there's like not really professional like connectivity for us to like keep in touch for. But now I'm like on the other side, like I'm doing a lot of like the mentorship programs for people who are in their first or second year. And we spend a lot of time talking about like, is it appropriate to ask my supervisor for an extension of my internship? Like, is it appropriate to change my start date because like I want to take a trip to Big Bear before semester starts? And like I think a lot of those important questions like are not things that you could read off of a Reddit thread or learn from a college class, and they only come from like interpersonal interactions. And then I think USC did like such a great job at fostering that community. And again, like I just kind of encourage everyone to sign up for everything that you see, because what is college if not exploring?
Yeah, thank you, Shao. We heard some great advice from all 4 of our panelists, and we are going to open the floor to questions from the audience now. So if you would like to ask a question, please put them in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand using the raise hand feature on Zoom, I can ask you to unmute and you can ask the question yourself. So while our students are thinking of their questions, I do have a question myself. I think, okay, we do have a question, so I'll take that first. What are your thoughts on the new H-1B policy? Derek asked. So anyone who would like to answer could start.
Yeah, I can answer that one because I used I just asked the H-1B visa before. Because I have to say, currently it's not very friendly. Yeah, it's also very tight for the kind of policy, but actually just anyway, also I remember now just also the president also signed up for some if you use the H-1B visa, also want to back and forth in a different country, and I also need to pay for the huge amount of money to pay for that. It's a so big number for especially for entry-level person who first get a job. It's a little unfair, I have to say. But despite that, because of something we cannot change, right? And we only thing we can do can change ourselves. So I think the most important thing is whatever you get H-1B or whether you are in or not, the most important thing is your working ability, right? So even maybe if not the US not welcome to you, and you can also find some other country the job, maybe neighbor like the Canada or something. Yeah, you need just to broaden your horizon, broaden your sights. Not only focus on the US. You can all the world is yours. You can not only focus on this one. It's one thing, and also another thing is just to practice your skills, improve the skills or ability. And I think it's very important skills. Once you got this one, and also combine your communication skill and also reach out more person, I think the more opportunity waiting for you. Not only focus on this one. Yeah.
I also want to talk about the H-1B thing because when I graduated, I never think I can get H-1B visa because even though like at that time H-1B doesn't have like the 100,000 things, like I think it was 2 years ago, but coming from a communication background, I don't believe I can get a H-1B visa with 1 year OPT at a time. So I would encourage you, like whoever like maybe comes from like a non-tech background, if you only have 1 year OPT, talk to your lawyer, talk to your professor, and even like use dating apps. Be an open mind, not just focusing on one H-1B because there's so many ways that you can get like a work visa here. Like I even talked to the lawyer about like investment, but they're like too risky and it cost me $1 million. I was like, oh, I don't have that money. But there are so many ways. Still, like don't just focusing on one. Like for example, O1 visa. I know some people they're not from artist background. They're like doing but they still got O1 visa. So it's very please keep open-minded from what kind of visa you want to.
Oh yeah, by the way, also, yeah, like, and also for some the students, if you are excellent in some different area like the art or maybe like the entertainment and sports, and also you can apply for the O1, yeah, and also another kind of option, and it's better also flexible and compared to the H-1B visa. It's for one thing. And also another thing is don't think H-1B visa is a very good thing. Sometimes it's like the working slave because I remember just when I got laid off at Google. Wow, at the time I have so tight time. I only have 60 days, only 2 months. You need to try to transfer to another company. And during that time, every day you need to just wake up and also to log into the USCIS to see whether your H-1B transferred to another company. It's so nervous, make you so anxious, but then you have to do that. So I have to say, at least you need to have some backup plan, not only focus on H-1B. Yeah.
Thank you. I also want to mention that we do have OIS, so please learn about all the up-to-date information there, just for students who didn't know. I do see a hand raised. Keming Zhao, you can, I hope I pronounced your name right. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Hi everyone, thank you for giving us today's great and wonderful presentation. My name is Kemin, and I have a question to you all because I'm a current student major in business and business administration and accounting. And I would like to ask, besides the traditional way to find a job, like LinkedIn or the the application on the official website for the company. Do you have any other like method or suggestions that we could connect with when we are student at USC? Thank you.
Sure, I'll go ahead and take that one to begin with. Thank you for the question. Yes, of course. So I think we sort of mentioned bits and pieces throughout our conversations all together, but just to consolidate on that, I would recommend really going to the events that happen on campus, and also like any sort of events that happen off campus as well. You'll see like so let's say you want to work in tech, right? There, and you're in LA, so that's a great space for tech and entertainment in general, right? So look up events on Eventbrite that's related to tech, that's related to AI, stuff like that. And right now, to be honest, if you are just going to events or workshops or meetups even that are related to tech, AI, or whatever industry your like your preferences, you'll get to meet people. And when you get to meet people, you get to make an impression. Remember, remember this entire thing of going through a job application is far more difficult than actually getting to meet someone and then creating an impression in person. And it creates you can even create like a great impression from the get-go as well. So case in point, in my case, my first internship opportunity actually came in from one of these workshops where, just like I said, went into the workshop where Pretty Big Monster was, showcasing their solutions, their strategy and everything. Went up to the, just the CEO who was presenting the whole thing, went up to him, said that he had a great event and everything, and just handed him my, LinkedIn profile right then and there. We connected, shared my resume. He was like, okay, a week from now, let's have a call. You never know where opportunities come from, but the name of the game is keep yourself busy with knowing more and more people in the relevant fields, and that's definitely going to help you out. Additionally, as I also mentioned a little bit, if you have your website while you already go for this networking events or these tech mixers, it's even better that whenever you meet, you can just be like, hey, so if you want to know a little bit more about me, here's my website. It always gives like a good connotation to the mind of the whoever you're speaking to. They think that, oh, you are someone who's not just like every Tom, Dick and Harry. You're someone who put in the hard work. You're good to go, you're ready, and you've a polished website for yourself as well. So those would be some of my tips. Over to anyone else who wants to add on.
I like Farhan's like idea about website, because when I try to hire somebody, when I read a resume, I always want to just click the website, and usually the people who have a website, they're so much like talented and surprise me. I think the question, correct me if I'm wrong, the question is like what other like method to find jobs, right? Is that her question? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would recommend you not forget like your existing resource, existing like networking. Like for me, every time I needed to find a job, I would just post that on my social media. Say, hey, I need a job. I post on WeChat, on WeChat moment, and I message everyone I know in LA. Say, hey, I need a job. Do you have any like recommendation? I mean, it looks kind of awkward that I tell people that, hey, I need a job right now on social media, but I did get some like job interview from that. And then that's how I got my first like internship in China. So I feel like that's a good way. So don't try to just like forget the content in your like social media, but just talk to a stranger. Maybe your friends has a referral, your friends has like an open position, but you don't know, because nobody wants to talk about work on social media.
Thank you so much. And I have a follow-up question that Simon and Farhan said, like the website. I would like to know more details. Is that like a LinkedIn website or any other website that you recommend me to show to the recruiter or any like HR
Your
that maybe
personal website. You create your personal website. I think that's what Farhan means, right?
Yeah, that's correct. A personal website. So you can look up Webflow is one of the one of the platforms that allows you to have like a free website, as well as you can build your own website from there. I actually have a session. When I was the teaching assistant for our product management class during my time at USC. So I had a session on specifically building the website, and how I went about building it and then actually building it. I'm happy to share that with USC Career Center, and so that they could share it with you guys, and you could potentially understand how you can, where you can start.
Thank you, because I'm not like a engineering or CS or tech
No, me neither.
major.
My undergrad was purely in marketing, and believe me, I'm telling you right now, there are tools that are so good right now in building your, like AI tools that are really, really good right now. You wouldn't need to code. It's just your intuition and your design sense. That's basically it. And you have so much reference out there. It's just a matter of you putting in the effort, sitting down and like asking ChatGPT where I can start, and then building it out from there. And
Okay.
like I told you, I'm gonna share, whatever I have with Ahona, USC Career Center. It's a recorded class, so she can potentially share it with you guys, and hopefully that will help.
I need that too.
I think both
Sure
of
thing.
us will need that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And any suggestion for the personal website design? Like as a recruiter, if you are as a recruiter or based on your experience, what kind of like personal website will be like outstanding to you? To
For me, I'm like marketing side. So usually if I see people's like their social media graphic design, their video content, I will like it's just something that you feel like you cannot put in a resume, right? You cannot put a video in your resume, you cannot put your graphic design in your resume, but you can put it in your website. So I would say like everything matters, but you cannot put in your resume. I think it's a good thing to put in your website.
Yes, depending on your what kind of your job you are looking for, and then to fit into yourself, to fit into the JD, and also write some related to the skills, or maybe achievements, or maybe working experience, or project experience, and you can show everything you want related to your job. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because the best part of the website is whatever you say on your resume, you can actually show with photos on your website. Like it builds credibility. It kind of hits the ground, So as I mentioned, I'll share the video. I think a lot of your questions would be answered from there as well in terms of design. But if anything, if you want to take a look on my LinkedIn profile, I think that's posted within the slides as well. If you just click on visit website, that's completely a template from Webflow, nothing out of the blue. I just prepared it by thinking like, hey, if I were to introduce myself through a website, how would I sort of do it? And I think that should give you a little bit of an idea of like how you can start, how you can design. The design doesn't need to be mesmerizing. Trust me. It just, like it just has to say the message in a very clear way, and it has to display the, like whatever claims you've made maybe on your resume. You could put those projects, with pictures and everything on your website. I mean, it's all about like giving your recruiter a perspective of like you have, you can add flesh to the bones, something like that.
Thank you. So it's like it's not like a LinkedIn. It's like a more like more personal information that you want to share besides your LinkedIn, right?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Personal website to introduce yourself. This kind of stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Because maybe because right now I'm a junior and I'm open to all the industry. So I just want to try to find the internship or maybe a full-time job after I I became a senior. So that's why I probably not sure which industry that I want to specialize in my whole career path. The personal, as for the personal website, just need to show my like personal information. That's it. So it can be like include many information besides the
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Yeah, no worries.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Happy to.
Thank you, Kiming. I see Zihan and Melissa have their hands up. So Zihan, you can go ahead first.
Hi, let me turn on my camera. Okay. Hi, I have a question about the internship timeline. Since I come from a communications background and now I turned to a dual degree program in data science, so I want to apply what I learned from class to my future internships. But I noticed that many positions are already open and accepting the applicants. So since I just started my program, I would like to know how to balance between preparing skills with applying early. So could you please share some advice on this?
Okay, definitely, I can share. I have to say the timeline actually just not only depends on your school what you're learning, because your school learning sometimes they have the big gap between the JD. So that's why you need just to fill the gap by yourself. Okay. So for example, like the data analysis, something you need to know have some Python or SQL or Tableau, this kind of skills. You need to learn all things by yourself. And also have good suggestion. Sometimes you can search the job maybe from not you very eager into the dream company, from small company as your practice. And then when they interview you, you can know, oh, what kind of industry they are looking for, what kind of quality they want. And then you can have more idea. Even the interview is failure, it's no problem. It's okay. You can learn something from that. It's about, oh, what kind of skill actually in this kind of industry we need. So it's very important. Also for timeline, and I'm not sure you are the first year for the master or the second year.
First year here.
Okay, so this semester is your first semester, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I think now you still have time to apply for the next year, the summer internship. So you can based on a different website also to just apply the job for that one. And also at the same time, also try to pick up, learn some of the skills from the JD, not from your textbook. Because your school learning have a big gap for one thing. So you keep just to apply the job for one thing, and also another thing to just to fill in the gap. And like I mentioned, for Tableau, SQL, Python, this kind of things. And also I know if you have data analysis, this kind of job also can do some of the Kaggle kind of the computation and also practice your skills, because the Kaggle it have so many good projects to help you practice your data skills for that one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Very helpful for me.
Yeah.
I want to add a little bit for the Kathy's part, like learning skills from the job description. I would strongly recommend that you guys, when you look for a job, to read all the skills that they need. They're usually it's very easy to learn from like YouTube, stuff like that. It's never super hard. As long as like you learn the basic entry level of that software, you're already killing like 99% of other people. Because right now, even though I don't look for a job, I still like try to look for the job market every 6 months to see what kind of like job description have in the market, and then I will read like what kind of like tools people are hiring right now. So I would just self-learning those tools. So it's a good way to self-learn yourself. You don't have to learn from like professional class. Just YouTube is enough for most of the job.
Just
Okay,
to add, just to add to that a little bit more, I think this could be a great resource. Right now, we're in a day and age where, you like learning something is extremely easy and extremely like you have a lot of help because you have efficient tools like ChatGPT, right? Here's a very good tip to get started. Maybe you don't know where I can get started or how I can get started. Let's say you have something posted at Universal Studios. It's a role for let's say a data analyst position. So you know that this, or maybe you've spoken to Simon. Simon has already told you like, okay, 3 or 4 months from now, this role is going to open up for an internship. So like, I want you to be prepared by then, right? So you have that on your mind, or you have that on your radar. What you could do is look up, Universal Studio data analyst roles on Google. You'll find various previous jobs as well, like with the same job description, right? Take that, copy paste that into ChatGPT, and just say that, hey, I want to prepare for this role. I want you to advise me on a project that I could do. I want to use skills like SQL, Python to do some sorts of projects. And go ahead and even say like, I don't know, like think of me as someone who doesn't know anything about, like SQL, Python. That way it's gonna help you break down the whole thing. If you want like something visually appealing as well, I would always recommend like whatever training you're doing, try to keep it as visual as possible so that you can take a screenshot or it's working online and you can like post that on your website or on your resume somewhere, right? So, or GitHub as well. So you make that project. Google Looker Studio, for example, is if you want to make like a SQL backed or something, or like an analytics project that you want to have visuals on. Google Looker Studio, free, easy, super nice to make. You can take a data set from Kaggle, install it in Google Looker Studio, and then work from there using ChatGPT steps. Then you showcase that on your resume, and then by the time the roles opens up, you actually get to talk to your hiring manager about, hey, like this role was opening up, I was doing this study, already have a project prepared, and you're good to go. Like that really helps.
Oh, that's very inspiring. Thank you.
And also when you're looking for the data related job, because there have so many different titles, you have data analysis, data analytic, data scientist, data engineer, business analysis, financial analysis, risk analysis. So this kind of things also related to the data. So you don't need to always focus on the one kind of title. You need just to search some also related crossing title for that one. Yeah.
Okay, I will pay attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Zihan.
Can
Sorry,
I also?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to just like knock out Chelsea's and Nina's questions back to back since we're like on this topic of timing, and I think both questions are kind of related to that. One is that for Chelsea, like I don't know what program you're in and what industry you want to get into. I think from the past talk, it became pretty obvious that like things differ from industry to industry. Like Kathy is recommending looking for data related internships next summer, and I could tell you that we're not going to open up entertainment internship for spring until a month and a half from now. So different industries work on very different timelines, and the overarching like methodology I would recommend would be to think about like who are your peers. I look around you, who have the job that you may want to go into, like who are peers in the same class that you really look up to and you think that you want to go on to the same path that they're on, and then like talk about when they are getting started, and like is it a month prior, is it 3 months prior, is it 6 months prior. My college roommate was a CS major, so it's like by the end of like junior summer, she'll be like, I know exactly where I'm going to end up after graduation, because you like set certain milestones that are very different from what my experience was like being entertainment. So I would say like look around you, ask your professor, and then in terms of like the 4 years of college life, I would say useful freshman year, enjoying it. Like if you're international, it might be your first year in America. You're going to be experiencing culture shock. You're going to be experiencing language barriers. Like figure out your life first and enjoy what you're doing on campus first. And I would recommend sophomore year being the start of like really thinking about how to solidify your career step by step. And then I think how many internships is just a question of, again, like what are the things that you really need? Like most of the people who are in traditional like tech or business that I know of, like usually it's really summer internships that you are doing, and make sure that every year you're hitting something in order to land that full-time employment by the end of your graduation. Versus like for me, I did an internship every singular semester of my school, because entertainment works in a way where you don't know out of the 5,000 people you know who's going to offer you a job. So the only thing that I know is to put one step ahead of another and just keep going. And pandemic like kind of like shut off my pace. So I literally had to like do 2 internships every semester my senior year because I was so afraid of like being left behind than people before me. So it really like depends on what you want first, and then talk to people who are holding the positions that you're yearning for, and then ask about their experience so you can kind of tailor your timeline. And then for Nina, I think also industry specific, like I could tell you that we don't really care about a master's degree in entertainment. Like if you know what you know, you'll be able to get a job like out of your senior year. And then I think a common conception I heard, which I don't know if it's true, is that master's degrees, the way that it's structured in America is that most of the times it's supposed to be from like a 0 to 1 process where you're learning like entry-level classes, being expected to know absolutely nothing, because a lot of time it's for people who are looking for like a mid-career pivot and things like that. So you're not necessarily becoming like a more highly skilled person just because you have 2 extra years of schooling. Like you might be repeating things that you learned as a freshman, but you know, industry specific, like there might be other industries where a master's degree becomes a lot more valuable. But I think more importantly, it's about how you plan out your timeline. Like there are people who haven't figured out what they want to do by junior year or senior year. So like now the clock is ticking, you need to figure out your visa. Like, do you have enough under your belt to feel like you can get a full-time job, or do you feel like you need more time to like re-explore what you're really interested in, being able to hone in on the industry that you were looking for? Then do you need an extra 2 or 3 or 4 years depending on your program in order to like re-find your footing? And I will like think about it from that way versus like will having a master's degree look better on a resume? Because I think the answer would be not necessarily.
Thank you, Xiao. I think we're nearing the end of our panel, so I'm really sorry to all the students who could not have their questions answered, but I think we've covered a lot of ground and the recording will be uploaded. So I feel like if you watch the recording, if you joined late, there might be something that you missed and that might just answer your question. So before I end the panel, I just want to let you guys know that there is other industry events, other industry related events that are coming up. So please make sure to check those out. And before we say goodbye, I want to thank our wonderful panelists once again. I'm sure that all the students found all your advice really insightful and really helpful. Thank you again for joining us today. And thank you to all our students who joined and asked all these amazing questions. So yeah, thank you so much. And
Can I jump in to
Yes.
say last thing that well, I put like my company like Resident Medical Group website linking page and our LinkedIn page. I encourage like you guys to follow it because we are like half of our employee here are international background, so we are very welcome international students to apply our jobs. And then I think we will open some entry-level job recently related to human resource and legal. So feel free to follow our page and our Indie page. And also feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. I see a question about where the recording will be uploaded. It will be in the USC Career Center YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.